Welcome, Raider Nation, to the Raider Nation podcast. I am your host, Raider Greg. Welcome to the show, the OG show. Longest running podcast in Raider history continues to roll.
Silver and black, the shield is the legacy. Raider Greg, the OG speaking, the Raider Nation podcast on Legion. From the Oakland Coliseum to the desert sand, 7755 Raider. The Boneline is open. Commitment to excellence. Just win, baby!
All right, Randy and I went to training camp Monday, Tuesday, first 2 days of padded practice. Got a lot to say about those things and more here on show 689.
Raider Nation podcast, keeping alive. Raider Greg since 05, we continue to thrive.
All right, Raider Nation, on today's show, we will have the offense, the defense, the special teams, everything we saw Monday, Tuesday. I'm going to hit on it, a little bit on the staff. We got the Boneline here following up. Boy, oh boy, our team has changed a great deal. Let's talk about it.
Back and we bossing. Silver and black on the carpet. Greg in the booth since the 05. Real fans, we don't do the talking. Commercial free, keep authentic. Oakland to Vegas, we winning. Worldwide nation, we global. New season energy, we different. Yeah, straight from the dirt to the penthouse.
First off, Randy and I have been to many training camps, mainly Napa. And what a difference it is. First of all, the area. Second of all, the most importantly of all, the temperature. 113 at camp. We were in the shade, and they were not. Can you imagine running around with all that stuff? 113 degrees? Well, they were doing it. And I think that's a great thing for our team as far as conditioning. They are all looking in great shape, to be quite honest. I didn't see any slugs. The other thing I noticed about camp right away was the tempo. The tempo of camp is just boom, boom, boom. I mean, they run from one thing to another. They already know what they're going to do. They've had these meetings early in the morning, and you can see that everyone is dialed into what they're supposed to do. Now, teaching. As I observed the entire field with binoculars, watching the quarterbacks, defensive backs, the defensive and offensive lines, what stood out to me very clearly was the teaching, the constant reassertion and teaching of the coaching staff. Very little and very few times did I see coaches standing to the side, unless they were the head of that, like the O-line coach, the head O-line coach, but his assistants were all over the place. Special team coach was everywhere because a lot of guys on all over the team are playing on special teams. So that was interesting to see. Special K, our kicker, our rookie, he was out there. Great to see all the fans as well. Gosh, all the young Raider fans out there. And just to see the nation, how exciting it is. And there's just a lot of people at camp. And let me say this too, the Raiders did a great job as far as hosting this camp. They had plenty of assistance, bunch of water, all you could possibly ask for. Anytime you turn around, there's a staff member to assist you. Pretty awesome, I must say. Q Myers walking up and down the field. I want to say Homer Simpson, but I can't. Of course, I mean Hondo Carpenter, he's a good reporter. He's kind of a homer, but I like his stuff for the most part. The whole Prez from all over the NFL were in-house, very observable. Everyone was all over Fernando. I brought a helmet from Cal. I wanted him to sign. I couldn't get 30 feet from him, and it's okay because he signed for a bunch of kids. That's really important. It's important to me too because that's the Raider Nation of the future, and you got to keep those guys involved. Now, let's just talk about the defense. The defensive line is improving, but it is already pretty monstrous and beastly. No one can stop Max Crosby on our team. I don't think any other team either. I mean, these are the first padded practices, so they're just starting to kind of get used to that. And we have a game in like 7 days. We're playing the Cards. And then we're going to do also some other events to keep the team going. Playing against other teams is very good for us, for sure, because we're so young. Got a lot of new players, man. I mean, a lot. And if you want to see or hear what this team is really focused on and about, listen to Mike McCoy.
Mike, would you talk about the efficiency of this camp? I've been doing this, got some gray hair, been doing this for 27
I got some gray hair too.
Yeah,
you know.
I've not seen a camp like this one. It's extremely efficient.
Well, Coach has done an outstanding job, number one, of developing the culture here and how he wants us to practice every day and laying out the plan. We spent a lot of time in the off-season program, and we got back from vacation of making sure everything was detailed every minute to be as efficient as possible with the way we meet from the first time they walk in the building to the time they leave at night, just to make sure that we're helping these players be the best they can be and help build the best team come the opener.
Mike, this isn't your first rodeo when it comes to bringing along a young quarterback, highly drafted quarterback. Are there telltale signs that you're looking for, or based on your experience, have you seen with Fernando to tell you, yeah, he's right on?
Well, the key thing for not just the quarterbacks but any young player is you want to see them getting better every day. They're going to make mistakes. Right. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, the vets make mistakes out here. It's a new year. It's a new system in all three phases, so everybody's learning it, not just the quarterbacks. But the great thing is, like the other day when Fernando threw an interception, the next he comes back and completes the next couple of balls. It didn't faze him at all, and that's what you have to have in this bid. You have to have thick skin and just keep rolling and live for the next play because it's like a DB on the edge. There's going to be times the ball goes up, move on to the next play. Don't let one play affect the other, and Fernando's done a great job with that.
Is that ability to brush it off a skill when it comes to
you got it. Yeah, you've got it. I mean, he's been playing quarterback a long time. He understands that. Not every pass is going to be perfect, and you just go to the next one.
With that being said, how beneficial has it been to have a veteran Kirk Cousins in that room?
Oh, it's been great. And then also Aiden.
Yeah.
And then the coaching staff, what they've done, the experience they have with all the coaches that are helping him. And, it's a group in there. And you hear Kirk say it a number of times, they're all in this together. They're trying to help each other. And it shows out here. It's been phenomenal since the first time we met as a group. And then as we added the rookies through the draft, they've done a great job together. And that's what's great. When you get guys like that and they're all in it together, it's a special group.
With guys earning their spots right now, especially at those two guard positions, what are you specifically looking for beyond the one-on-one reps?
Well, you just kind of, we're looking for the best 5 up front, and that's where you're looking for the best 11, and that's what training camp's all for. It's to, you go through the off-season program, with all the conditioning and teaching a system, and now you get out here, and we've had a couple of days of pads, and now it's time for the guys to step up and to find out who can do what in pads, and that's the big thing of understanding. We're playing a lot faster now when you get into pads, and they're all doing a great job, and all the O-line coaches, they're moving guys around to see what the best combination is, and then put guys up against different players.
Rock Powers is notably uncoverable usual, but for the rest of the wide receiver room and any of the receivers in general, what has stood out to you about them and as they're going up against the secondary?
Well, what we're really trying to do, as you go through the off-season program, you're teaching the system, and now it's trying to figure out once you put pads on, and guys know what they're doing now, is who does what best. And they're all competing, they're all getting plenty of reps, and it's a matter now of us saying, okay, as a coach, as an offensive staff, okay, this is what these players do best. And it's our job, come the opener, to put the players in a position to be successful. Whether that's in the run game, that's in passing game, it's all the protections. So that's really what we're trying to find out right now. But they're moving all around, and, there's the good and the bad, and that's part of training camp.
What have you seen from Malik Benson so far, the 6th-round pick out of Oregon?
He's done a great job. I think he really has. You know, he came in rookie camp, and I think he found out, you know, what it's like in the NFL in a hurry, the way we're going to practice, the conditioning level, things like that through the off-season program. And he's came back in great shape, and you see him getting better every day, the plays he's made. But that's why you have the off-season program and you have training camp. Guys are learning, and they're rookies. So the key thing is to just constant improvement. Are you getting better every day? Are you learning not only from your mistakes but other mistakes, other players? And that's what he's done. He's done a good job.
Mike, the offensive line has been a little bit of a struggle here for the last couple of years. But by the same token, you talk about guys like Jackson Powers, Johnson, DJ. They're going on to, in some cases, their fourth offensive coordinator in just a couple of years. How much of a disservice is that sometimes for an young offensive lineman? And what have you seen from these guys to give you a feeling like they're going to be fine?
Well, you can't. We're not worried about the past. We're moving on to the future, and you know, there's a new staff here, and they've got a great group of offensive line coaches. And like I said, we just work with them every single day, working on all their little technique, and it's a new system. And you know, they've got like we talked about the quarterbacks and some receivers, things like that. They're learning the system, how we're doing it. But the key thing is the repeated plays that we get over and over and over again to get really good and make sure they understand exactly how Rico wants it blocked up front, the rules and everything. And then it's a matter of finding the combination of the 5 linemen, the tight ends, running back, even receivers. We're going to ask our receivers to block their tails off. And that's why this system has been so successful from day one. I was with Clint's dad back in '95 in Denver. And it was the same, very similar scheme, actually. You know, Rico was there too at the time, and it's obviously things have changed and evolved over the years. But what you ask of not just the guys up front, but the receivers, the quarterbacks, and the boots, so that helps everyone do their job.
Coach, when you look at the UDFA class, it's an extremely talented young men. Now, what's that tell you about John Spytek and his personnel department to being able to get that depth of talent from UDFA?
We'll give Spy and his staff a ton of credit. You know, they work endless hours, and, you know, as a coaching staff, we can't thank the personnel department enough. What they do, you know, we talk about coaches being away from their families, but the coaches or the scouts being on the road, you know, through training camp when they come and go. They're on college campuses all through the college football season, things like that. And I think the one thing that Spy did a great job of this year is it's the coaches and the scouts all in this thing together and communicating, you know, the first year together of, okay, for an offensive lineman, you know, the tackles, the guards, the center, this is exactly what we're looking at. And then, you know, you try to go out there and there's great dialogue. No one's got all the answers. And that's one thing Spy wants is coaches to, hey, tell us what you're looking for. We'll do the best job we can to go out there. And then, you know, you always want the scouts, though, to jump on the table for their guys, too, and say, this is why we think these players can help us. And, you know, that's the fun part. As soon as that last draft pick's over, and then, you know, a little bit of chaos comes out, you're trying to get all these guys in as college free agents, and it's great to see that. And, you know, there's nothing better than seeing when you get to the 53-man roster and you have a couple of those guys that, you know, the scouts jumped on the table for and did a great job of finding those players that fit us and can help us win. And the great thing here is what Coach is doing to give those guys an opportunity. You know, you see the number of reps that they're getting, and Coach has told them, hey, listen, eventually we're going to start cutting back reps, but you have X number of practice to show us what you can do, and you'll create your own spot on this roster.
Having a lot of young guys at the line, how has Kirk's veteran presence helped them out?
Oh, he's a vet. You know, there's not a lot of things out there that are going to fool him. I've been very fortunate to be around some of the greatest, and, you know, with the protection knowledge and the system and just having played, you know, he's been in this system before with Clint, and he knows it, and he can direct all the traffic, so you can't put enough value on that.
Couple more. Walking out with
Excuse me?
We saw Gary Kubiak walking out with his son to practice today. Just knowing them for so long, how cool a moment was that, do you think, for him as he took the field with his son, who's a head coach?
It's unbelievable. I mean, you know, Gary's a phenomenal coach, person. Like I mentioned earlier, I was with him in '95, and just to have your kids do what they do, it's unbelievable. And I mean, it's awesome to see him here.
Are there any similarities between the two, and then any differences that you're seeing in their head coaching style?
Well, you know, I think growing up in a football family, you learn so much about the business and being around so many great coaches. And his dad was a phenomenal football coach and a great leader. He talked to all the players on the team, the way he treated them. But then he also coached them extremely hard. I remember back in '95 and the way Mike Shanahan and Gary and the rest of the staff coached the players. They coached them extremely hard, but then they also loved them up. They know that, hey, we care about them as people also. And Clint's the exact same way, the importance of family and what it means. They both, Gary did a great job where he's been, and Clint's done a great job here of building the culture. And this is what it's all about. We're going to coach you guys hard, but we're also going to take care of you as a human being and love you up, and we care about you.
All right, one more. You coached against Ashton last year when you were with Tennessee. How have you seen?
One more time, sorry.
You coached against Ashton last year against the Raiders when you were with Tennessee.
Yeah, that was a fun game.
Have you seen his?
Thanks for bringing that up. I appreciate that.
Have you seen his game develop since then and since you've gotten here?
Yeah, I think he's really taking advantage of what the coaching staff's asking him to do. He understands and he knows the success you can have as a running back in this system, not only as a runner, but in the passing game and what he can do. And it's the number of touches he's going to get. You saw today when we had a couple 8 plays there and empty with him putting them out, getting them out of the backfield. And we've done that all camp long in different formations. But he's taken advantage, and I think Omar's done a great job of coaching the backs. And they're all doing a really good job. But we got a great group of guys, so it's been fun.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you.
He says everything that Clint Kubiak does not. Clint's a man of few words. I like it. But he's also well respected of the team. They love him. They just love him. He's not a rah-rah guy. He's the guy that just says it like it is and tells you where you got to improve. I could take that. I could take that out of a head coach. But, long story short, Massis, Stokes, T. Johnson, Chin, Malik Benson, which has been, you already know this guy's making moves. I'll tell you, when I watched him play, and he caught everything I saw, was he reminds me of Antonio Brown. Even in his interview, he kind of sounds like, not as crazy, of course, but...
I'm your host, Paul Gutierrez. Joined today, special guest, rookie receiver Malik Benson. Malik, number one, thank you so much for taking the time. I know you're in the middle of training camp, your first NFL training camp. Thank you for stopping by.
Man, thanks for having me.
The Raiders heading into the draft, one of the biggest needs, obviously, was receiver. And the fans and draft nicks, everybody else was screaming for that receiver. 6th round comes around, they select you, number 195 overall. They want a big receiver, a fast receiver, an outside guy. How does your skill set translate into what the Raiders want to do here with you?
Yeah, so, with Coach Kubiak, what he wants to do, speed on the outside, speed on the inside. So, yeah, just with my skill set, just me and the other receivers, I feel like we've been doing a really good job, throughout training camp, just, learn the offense, just trying to, learn what he wants us to do. But, just for, my skill set, I feel like, it's good that I'm able to go outside, show my vertical threat down the field and then be able to, move inside and things like that. So, it's been really good.
What about your skill set separates you from the other receivers that were drafted this year?
Man, just my ball knowledge, my speed, and, man, just being able to go across the middle, just tough contested catches. I'm willing to go get up and grab anything, knowing that when that ball's in the air, can't nobody come down with it but me.
So digging into your past a little bit, I know you didn't start playing football till you got into high school, but you ran track also, and you qualified for state not only in the 100, the 200, the 4x100, the long jump, and I don't know if you're old enough to remember Carl Lewis, but those were his events in the Olympics back in the 80s. How did those skills in track and field, besides just the pure speed, how do those translate onto the football field?
Yeah, so, just long jump. I feel like, I was really good at long jump. Mm-hmm. And I feel like with long jump, you have to have a certain, amount of coordination to be able to, run full speed and stop on a dime. That's, kind of just being at, like, top of the route, in and out of breaks, things like that. And obviously, like, just the down the field speed, obviously that's the 100 and then the 200 and things like that. So I feel like, even though I started late, being able to, play sports like basketball and run track and run up, I feel like, all around that helped me. So then once I was able to play football, just like I had that competitive edge in every other sport. I just had to kind of learn how to play the game. And, man, once I learned how to play the game and, my mom finally let me play, I just really just fell in love with the sport.
Got to always respect what mom wants, right?
Yeah.
And again, doing the research into you, there's a movie out right now called The Odyssey. And I guess you could kind of apply that to your football journey, all the different schools you went to. You went to junior college, Hutchinson for 2 years. You went to Alabama for a year, Florida for a year. Florida State for a year. Finished up at Oregon. How did going to all those different schools, how did that kind of not only mold you but get you ready for the NFL as well?
Man, so, like you said, been to, a lot of different schools, and some of them schools, Alabama, Florida State, Oregon, was there for a year. So, man, really just knowing that I had to outwork, the people that were there in front of me that have been there for some years, learning new playbooks, just getting coaching from a whole bunch of different coaches. So, man, really just having going with that dog mentality of, shoot, I got to go in, I got to earn a job, I got to, take what's mine, I got to learn the playbook, I got to connect with my teammates and things like that. So I feel like doing that in college and being, kind of uncomfortable in college, once I got here, it was kind of a smooth transition because it was just like there's not going to be a concept, that I haven't heard. Maybe, it was called something else, but, I've seen pretty much every single concept. And then just like having to bond with my teammates in the locker room, being at junior college, it's, it's a lot different being in a locker room at Alabama, things like that. So having to, learn experiences from other teammates, I feel like when I come in here, I can really kind of just bond with everybody just because, I have a really good personality, but two, like I know how to, communicate with people and mesh with people.
Literally, this is your 5th different program in 5 years. How's it been getting acclimated in that wide receiver room then, just specifically the receiver room?
Man, I'm just very blessed that I came into a receiver room that welcomed me with open arms, and not even me, just all the other rookies. Just like, older guys like, Trey and Jalen, they've been vets, and I try to just lean on them just because, they've done it before. They've been rookies before. So, leaning on their past experience and, asking them and, obviously taking what they teach me and putting it into my own way. But, man, just guys like Dante, before I had my crib out here, he let me, chill at his crib for, a little minute. And I just feel like when you're in the receiver room, obviously there's only one football. Everybody wants 1,000 yards, things like that. But when we can all put our pride down and, connect as one group, man, we're going to be an unbelievable group because, we're hanging out outside the facility and doing things like that. So then once we come in here and do what we got to do, which is play football, that just comes natural. So, just being able to do that in the off season, you could tell like when we get on the field now, like everybody just wants to see each other win, and it's super fun. It's super cool to be in a receiver room where everybody's selfless.
Well, not just that receiver room, but the roster as a whole. You got a fellow rookie, number 1 overall draft pick, Fernando Mendoza. What's that connection been like with him? Not only in the locker room or in meetings, but on the practice field, as well as with a veteran like Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, so a guy like Fernando, obviously I played him twice, and, they gave it to us both times we played him. So, when we first got here, we talked about that, we joked about that, but, just knowing that, we're all we got, all we need, and knowing that, we came here together, so obviously we were learning the playbook together. So whether that's in the morning time, just doing extra walkthroughs with him, I go to the quarterback room and I just, listen to the coaching points, just because I know, like, at the end of the day, I need him, he needs me. And then having a guy like Kirk who's been here, who's seen, everything, been with, really good receiver, I'm just trying to nitpick his brain and, just understand what he wants on certain routes, like, how do you want it like this? Or, just ask them just things like that, just because at the end of the day, like, they're the quarterback and they're what orchestrate, this offense. So, man, just trying to be on the same page as them. So, when we go out there and it's time to, get everything rolling, they can trust me and they know that I'm going to be where I need to be for them.
It's your first NFL training camp, but you went through rookie minicamp, you went through OTAs, you went through mandatory minicamp. What excites you the most about entering this first training camp? And also, what are you kind of nervous about in this first training camp?
Oh, what excites me the most is just being able to play football. I feel like, when you get out of college, you're doing, Shrine Bowl games, worried about the combine, worried about the draft. So all that pressure's out. I'm on a team, and I can learn the playbook, and I can just come out here and just have fun and just play football at the end of the day, and just be able to connect with my teammates and just come out here and just do what we came here to do. Yeah. What I'm nervous about, I feel like I'm not really nervous. I feel like you're only as nervous if you're not prepared, and I feel like I spend a lot of time preparing and being ready for my moment. So when that moment does come, I'll be ready for it. And just attest to, like I said, with just having back against the wall with being in so many spots, I just feel like I kind of got the nerves out there, and I just say like, man, I can't really be nervous because God, He already has His plan set out for me, and it's whether I wake up every day and follow His plan and just trust Him, and whatever happens, I just leave it all up to Him.
Regarding being prepared, what would your impressions, or how would you describe what Clint Kubiak's offense is like, without giving away the state secrets, obviously? But how would you describe his offense?
Yeah, so his offense, if you don't study the night before and you think you're just gonna roll out of bed and come to practice, yeah, you dead wrong. Like you gotta take a lot of time, but that's one thing I'm learning about being a professional is like it's not like college no more. You can't just wake up, you know, have so many meetings and go out there. Like, it's on you, you know. If you want to play, you want to be one of the best in this league, like, you have to take the extra time. Like, you know, obviously I try to get a good schedule of, you know, just finding routine. So it's really just finding routine and balance of, you know, plays and taking care of my body.
You're not just a receiver, you're also a punt returner, and you had that big the big return against USC that everybody still talks about, and you look at the highlights, you can find it. How would you describe that? I mean, what is that like when you're sitting back there and you're literally wide open, you're just exposed, waiting for that ball to come down? What is going through your mind as a punt is coming down towards you?
Well, first thing going through my mind, field the ball, because you can't go nowhere without the ball. But, man, I feel like for me, you know, everybody talks about, being a punt returner is so hard, but my teammates, they make it so easy for me, you know. I trust them to, you know, do their job, and I don't even worry about them doing their job because I know, you know, they put in, you know, reps throughout the week, throughout the year to, you know, be prepared for that moment. So then when I catch the ball, I just see a hole and I hit it. I got to be that lightning in the ball, and I just, you know, just want the crowd getting up on their feet and, you know, just being excitement for the team.
What do you hear? What's going through your mind? And I mentioned this today. I think I had Hall of Fame cornerback Eric Allen here, and he described like a beautiful chaos going on out there when he's intercepting a ball. I've had Bo Jackson has said that he can just hear the wind whistling by his ear holes as he's breaking a long run. What are you hearing when you're taking off on a punt return that's going to the house?
Man, it's like you kind of just like black out, and then, you know, you just flash back when you get into that end zone, and then you finally hear everything. But, like, you know, for me, it's like I'm just hearing myself breathe, like, man, don't get caught, don't get caught, don't get caught. Like, you know, they set up a beautiful block, and it's just like, you know, I got to make a couple people miss. But I know, you know, once I do that, you know, the God-given ability to, you know, run, I just got to turn on them burners and, you know, trust that everybody's going to do their 111 and shoot. Once that happens, once I get in the end zone, that's when I hear the crowd roaring. That's when I know I did what I was supposed to do.
And lastly, Malik, you went to junior college out of high school. You just got your sociology degree at Oregon. How much did that mean to graduate with a college degree, given your path and given the way your career started?
Man, so yeah, to touch on that, you know, I started off with a 1.7 GPA in high school. So, like, man, going to college, it wasn't really a like my mother, she didn't get her degree. Yeah. You know, my aunts, uncles, no one in my family really got it. So to be, you know, kind of the first one, you know, really I promised my mom, like, once I went to junior college, like, I'm going to come back with a degree, obviously, from that. And then once I go to Division I, like, I promise you, you know, that I'm going to get that just because I feel like that was really for her. Obviously, it was for me, but, you know, for her oldest son to, you know, be able to get that accomplishment. And then, you know, I have 3 younger siblings. So when they see their older brother, you know, get the degree, you know, then that could be the standard, like, okay, who's going to get their degree, you know, faster than I got mine, right. Things like that. So, man, it's, you know, just a huge accomplishment, you know, just for my family, because it shows me and it shows, you know, other people that I'm not just an athlete, you know, I care about my studies. Yeah. But like I said, it's just a big part for my family just to, you know, kind of break that generational curse of now my siblings, like, they know that you have to go to college, you have to get a degree.
Well, as somebody that was on the 6-year plan himself and also started in junior college, congratulations and welcome to the Raider family, so to speak.
Yes, sir. Glad to be here.
Malik, thank you for your time.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
He has got great personality. He looks you, engages you in the eye, and he is so twitchy and fast, I don't see who's going to cover him. Now, they say he's the number 3, which I probably think so, and then Naylor as well. He's a speedster. He's doing really well. And he kind of pops as well as far as wide receiver goes. I'd have to say that. Also, they're hitting the running backs, which we could see as well. A lot of movement in this team, and we're just seeing the beginning of it. So there's a lot of people moving around before the snap. I like that. It's part of this offense, and the sooner we learn it, the better it's going to be. Now, Michael Meyer broke his nose, of course. You all know that. He's back at practice. Brock is in the house, and we got a couple other tight ends as camp bodies, really. But you got to have all these guys, because I think that we're going to run 12 and 13 personnel a lot, because that's the kind of offense we're going to run. And, man, it's going to be great. I don't know where Bech is.
Jack Bech.
I don't know what happened to him.
What do you have to do to take that next step into that starting lineup and get planted? We know you've got the skills. Just curious what you think that next step for you is.
Yeah, you know, just keep fulfilling my role, you know, whatever that may be.
Being a physical blocker in the run game, catching balls over the middle, making contested plays. That goes for everybody. Everybody has to do those things. Everybody has to play their role, so we can, as a team, take this team where we want to go.
How do you fit well into this Clint Kubiak style offense? And what are kind of your things you're doing so far as you're still doing installs?
Yeah, no, it's been awesome. Coach Kubiak, I love the offense that they run, the whole system that they have, the different ways you can see different things and make changes throughout the plays. Again, like I said, just the knowledge that they have to be able to do all the things and run all the plays that they have has been really great. I'm really excited for this year, and it's going to be a really fun year.
How do you go about just handling your business, not worrying about any kind of outside noise, being a former second-round pick, obviously high expectations?
Yeah, I think it's just day by day, coming here, you listen to what the coaches say, the good, the bad, the indifferent, you go and each day you come in here with the mindset of growth to get better. It doesn't matter, if you have a great day, if you have an okay day, whatever it may be, just each and every day you just got to come in here, you got to put your head down, you got to go to work, and again, you got to put the team first.
Seen Malik Benson make a lot of plays so far in training camp. As a year 2 guy, seeing a rookie come in, how have you been able to help him kind of splash on the field so far?
Yeah, no, for sure. Malik has been great. He's super fast, super twitchy. He's coming here. He puts his head down. He works super hard. He's super talented. He makes really good plays. He makes the big play. That's what we're counting on him to do, to come in here, to push all of us. Everybody in that receiver room to just push each other to grow and to be the best we can be each and every day we get out here.
Now, what I always liked about him was his blocking and his ability to block downfield. Also, when he catches the ball, he's not afraid to take a hit or definitely give a hit. So I hope this kid works out. He's struggling a little, but, you got to hope for all these guys. And I truly believe when the cuts come to the 53, we're all going to be blown away of the talent we let go compared to years previous talent that we had. It'll kind of show us all as fans how lame those administrations were in picking players and the like. We've gone through a lot of draft picks that were turkeys. I mean, I don't even want to go over the list, but it's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. But I do believe this year, we're picking up the players we really need. The tempo of camp is awesome. Everyone seems to be ready for this. And they're making these guys work hard. I mean, really hard. 113 degrees, that's crazy. But it's doing it. And I think this is going to forge this team. Forge it in iron. I mean, the way these guys get along, you can tell it's no fakeness. And some other observations I had was when Fernando Mendoza, I watched him a lot like everyone else. Under center, he's a little, you could see his feet aren't steady. He's doing okay. He's throwing the ball great. Let me just say that. He's throwing the ball great. He just needs some more time, a little more footwork, I think. But Cousins looks on fire. Cousins looks like he's ready to play today. The ball comes out extremely fast. He knows where he's going with it. And you can see the difference between these quarterbacks, even Aiden. But Aiden still holds the ball too long for me, even in practice. Cousins, man, he gets the ball out like right now. I like that. And he ain't playing. I think it'll be a good thing that he starts. I think it'll give us a good start. And hopefully he doesn't get hurt. But Fernando, he gets the ball there, and when he does, like a play broke down, and he threw the ball to Genty, and he went all the way to the end zone. And then he ran all the way with everybody to congratulate Genty, and that was everybody that he threw the ball to. He always goes up, so, and some people think this is kind of fakey. Trust me. And I'm telling you, man, this is no fake. This is who he is. I love the guy. I hope he gets out there sooner than later and blows everybody's mind with more than expected performance. And I think that's the case. But a lot of pressure on this young guy still. Kind of blows me away. Everybody wants a piece of him. So I hope the Raiders are good about that and good about his mental health And don't put too much on this kid's shoulders too early. We've all talked about it already, and I just think he's handling it very well so far. And I think camp in general, the defense is way ahead of the offense. You know, our linebacking core has become beast. I mean, it is beast mode city. Here's the thing I thought was interesting as well, that they're mixing the linebackers in with the safeties or moving people up and down. It's going to be a very hard defense to read. I love that. I really do. And our defensive backs, to a man, they're playing like beasts. They're doing very well and making the offense have to catch the damn ball. Iron sharpens iron. You know what that means. And to me, the defense is stepping out first, which I expected anyway. But the offense is trying really hard to get that ball. Getting the ball, by the way, is something we need to improve on greatly. Because I think we only got 16 interceptions last year, dead last, or close to it.
The Raiders had 8 interceptions in 2025, not dead last. These teams all had 6 interceptions. 49ers, Cowboys, and Titans were dead last with 6 interceptions.
That's not going to happen this year. The way these guys are flying around, and especially the rotations they're doing with the safeties and linebackers, it's going to be a crazy defense. And then the defensive line, let me just say Tonka Hemingway right now. Now this guy, he is a monster man. He's humongous. Tatanka is what Randy and I were saying. I think Hondo said the same thing, like on Dances with Wolves.
Tatanka.
Tatanka.
Here.
Tatanka.
Tatanka.
Tatanka. Buffalo.
Oh.
Buffalo.
Tatanka.
And they were talking about Tatanka being the buffalo. Well, he's like a buffalo. He's a big man. And he worked out very hard, got the award for coming in and working hard all off season. You know, maybe that doesn't mean a lot to a lot of people, but to me, you know, here's a guy making it work. He's a rookie that had a problem last year with terrible coaching staff and then comes back in this year to take the middle ground on the defensive line. I think he'll do a great job. He just needs to learn the position a little more. But huge man, and will be great in the run game, I presume, because I don't know who's going to run over that guy. Let me talk a little bit about the offensive line. It looks way better already, and I know we're not playing anybody, but just the movement, the quickness, the launching. I mean, Tyler Lindenbaum, give me a break. Talk about a beast, absolutely. And then you have number 7-7 right there too as well. Colton Miller as experienced guys. So the guys filling the middle have a lot of experience and a lot of wisdom around them. I think our offensive line will improve 100%, which doesn't say a lot, but it'll be a lot better, especially when we can run the ball, which I will say is definitely going to be on the go. The movement, the way the offensive line is moving, there'll be power blocking. I guarantee it's not going to be all zone. There'll be definite power blocking in there. And we have the guys that'll do it. I mean, we really do. We have some mean and nasties up front. And with the experience and the new guys that we got, helping to teach the guys from last year that got taught crap. Yes, thank you so much, Pete Carroll's sons. Not really. But they're getting education. They're getting a great menu. They're getting good food. They're getting good advice. And the attitude of the team is so much better. I just think that everybody wants to be on this team. I think this is a team that people want to play for, and it's just not another team. I see that in the way they practice. I see the intensity. I know it's a job, but I don't think I've ever had a job that I've loved that I haven't done well at. So I think these guys love football, and they're starting to learn how to love each other and mainly trust each other. You can see that in relationships forming as the guys are in line waiting to come in for a play. There's a lot of camaraderie there, man. It's just a different vibe for me. So I want to thank Randy and his lovely wife, Lisa, for allowing me to stay at their beautiful home and go to training camp. We had a blast, Randy and I, and it just was a lot of fun. It's always great to visit my very good friend and brother, Randy Olson. All right, it's time for the Bone Line. Yep.
Okay, Raider fans, here we go. The Bone Line.
7755 Raider. 7755 Raider.
Throw the nation a bone. Throw me a bone. Get on there and throw your bones. If you don't like your first recording, do it 2, 3, 5 times. I don't care. We'll pick out the best one. Don't be shy. How could you be shy? You're a Raider fan. No, we're all loud and proud. Get on the Bone Line because we got some guys shouting it out right here. We got some great takes, and here they are. From the nation to your station.
We were the first, of course, to have it. We still have it. Others copy, but that's why you're the original. We're the original, gotta tell you. Don't need you to hit any subscriptions or whatever they do. Ring the bell, ging the gong, whatever it may be. We don't need that here. We know that we have fans that listen to our show, and I know that you've been listening to my hard, terrible voice for so long, and I appreciate it. Randy and I love doing the show for the fans, by the fans. That's what we've always been about. And saying that, we'll stick to the Bone Line right now. So who's the first caller on the bone? And how befitting. The first caller is the Prez. And so all I can say is, so says the Prez. What's up, my good brother from Tennessee?
So says the Prez, words of wisdom. The silver and black blood flows thick through the grid. We built this empire brick by heavy brick.
Well, what's going on, the Raider Nation? This is the Prez calling you live and direct on the ship. Well, there's a lot of banter and a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of naysayers. I even saw old Chucky, John Gruden, with his little bit of prediction, if you would speak. So to speak, I'm sorry. But anyway, hey, preseason is almost here. We got some football coming up pretty soon on the 5th, I think, the Hall of Fame game. And then right on my birthday, which is August 15th, but the day before, I think the Raiders play. Unfortunately, we'll be setting sail. Usually every year I would go to the preseason game for my birthday. One year I had the experience to sit with Raider Randy, and we played the Cowboys. That was my first debut of also hosting the Raider Nation podcast. So, so to speak, man, I'm enthused. I'm ready. Just waiting to see some football because I'm about to pull my hair out. I think I speak for everybody on that part right there. As far as like the Raiders, I'm just going to have to wait and see. For the first time in a long time, I'm not going to get amped up with high expectations because the team is very, very, very brand new, and we have a lot to build on as far as like a chemistry and all this stuff there. So, yes, we would like to see them do good. But no, I am not going to have super duper high expectations because it's too early for that. And we've been through that, so to speak, also too. So with that being said, Raider Nation, hold on, be happy. The schedule is brutal. We already know that much right there. So let's just see what happens. This is the Prez. I know it's early, but you know the deal. Raiders. So says the Prez. Happy new season.
Well, thank you for the call, brother. And I know you're working hard because you always do. You're a hard-working man. And, I'm thinking it'd be nice to be out there on a boat in this beautiful summer. But you guys have had some weather, too, which is, I don't even know what to say about that on a boat. But long story short, I am excited. Sometimes I don't get excited. Sometimes I get angry, as you know. But I'm not angry this year. I'm not disappointed. I'm pretty optimistic just seeing how they practice. Not the same as before. And I just think it's a new regime. We're going to have to give it a chance, but I'm excited. I mean, I'm not saying Super Bowl, but what I will say is any team that plays the Raiders this year will know they've been in a football game. But I truly believe that's the mentality here. And it's coming. We'll see it really soon. Thursday, man. Thursday's the first game against the Redbirds. So we'll get a glance at a lot of the new players. And more the case, the basics of the scheme that we'll be playing. It's not going to be the same, but they're going to have these linemen working things out on these preseason games. And we might even see Fernando Mendoza toss the ball around. I'm not sure, but I like this time of year. I'm excited. I hope we do well. And I understand, man, we've been let down so many times, but I still, even though times when I think it's going to be a stinker, I still get excited, brother. And I know you do too, no matter what. Thanks for the call, man. And our next caller is Valley Raider. He's got some great questions. What do you got for the Raider Nation, my brother?
Raider Greg, Raider Randy. This is Valley Raider, checking in from Deleno, California. Fuck Mike Florio. Now that we got that out of the way, just checking in, trying to check the temperature with Raider Nation to see how confident they are in this season. I want to temper my expectations on the team. I see them doing big things in the years ahead, but I kind of see us maybe making a push. It all depends on our defense, because I think our offense is going to be killer, but our defense, I trust Robbie Leonard, but there's like a lot of unknowns, and I just want to check in with Raider Nation to see maybe they can boost my confidence on our team this season. I'm really looking forward to the season. Really looking forward to see what Brock and what Max are going to do this season. But yeah, just want you guys to let me know what you guys think. Valley Raider, and I'm out.
Well, I have to totally agree with you because Mike Florio has been nothing but an asshole to the Raiders and the Raider Nation. And he's so smug and he's such an ass. And his little assistant's like his little boy. Oh, yes, I have to agree with you. Yeah, I get it. I see it. But, the best thing about that, and I'm going to leave it after this, is wait till we start to win and watch him squirm having to talk about how good we are. That's the best revenge, bro. And speaking about that, it's coming. The offense will be good, but they're slower always, especially on a new team with what we're going through. It's slower for the offense to gel, so they might sputter a little, but I will tell you, man, our defense is going to be absolutely insane. Our defensive backs are all improved, much faster, much quicker, and they cover way better. Now, the thing that's improved in our defense tremendously that maybe people can't see is our defensive linebacking core. The Kobe Dean, he's quick, he's fast, he's got really long arms. Oh my gosh. And our other linebacker is no slouch either. And then we have Chin. And the other thing about the defense, especially that part of the linebackers, they're moving them around to safety. I mean, you're going to see some crazy stuff from our defense that we've never done before. And I think that Leonard has learned a lot from our head coach, and they've really put a different scheme of defense because we were so used to watching Anita Graham's defense, and you have to have a Graham in order to open your eyes to see his defense. It was sluggish and just not very good. And so I'm kind of glad we moved on from him. I'm glad that Romy Leonard's in the house. The team loves him, man. They love him. I don't know if they loved Patrick Graham, but they love Robbie, and they're playing hard for him. I wouldn't worry about the defense. The offense might take a while, but, brother, you just wait. Think about me when you watch our defense play this year, and it's pretty amazing. I am total confidence that we're going to get it done. Thanks for the call, brother. And our next caller, my good brother, Raider Joe from Forestville, California. Longtime Raider fan. What you got for the nation, my brother?
Hello, Raider Greg, Raider Randy, and the rest of Raider Nation. This is Raider Joe from Forestville, California. I've heard some rumors about Vita Vea wanting to come to a West Coast team, or even Las Vegas. Well, we sure don't want the Chargers to get him. We don't want to have to play against him twice in the same year. So Raiders management, how about helping fulfill our fantasies? Imagine Vita Vea, Max Crosby, and Kwity Paye blasting through their blockers and simultaneously all three of them taking down Patrick Mahomes. That would be something to see. And wouldn't a dominant D-line just be amazing? The other teams couldn't double team everybody each snap. Something to dream about. That's all I have to say. Keep it up, Raider Greg. Raider Joe out.
Well, there's been rumblings of Vita Vea, and I looked into him, and, I'm sure that he's not the only head case in the NFL, but he does bring a little bit of drama. So I don't know if we're going to sign him. I mean, we might have to play him wherever he goes. But I hope if we do sign him, he understands his place here and falls in line with everybody else. I can tell you for sure Max Crosby will make it so. Kwity Paye looks like he's going to be doing it too, so it would be a trifecta of defensive linemen for sure if we could get him and if he could come in the right guy with the right attitude. It could be something very special and help launch this team into the next level, as you know it can go. And it will go. We just want it to go sooner. Thanks for the call, Joe. It's always good, my brother. And our next caller needs no introduction, but I will. I know it's summer. I know it's hot. I know it's not next to December, but our next caller is ho, ho, ho. Raider Claus is in the house. What's up, brother?
Hello, Raider Greg, Raider Randy, Raider Nation. This is Raider Claus checking in. Just wanted to see how everyone's doing in the off season. Love the shows. Love all the changes, not only with the Raiders themselves, with Raider Nation podcast. Seems like Randy's getting into the AI music scene. Keep up the good work. You guys are doing awesome. I also wanted to, we always try and put our flavor on everything. Santa Claus, she's got the naughty and nice list. This year, I think I'm going to be doing the dumbass and dog list. Every week, come up with who's been the dog of the week and also who's been the dumbass of the week. And then we'll see how that goes, see how that plays out. Feedback's always welcome. And, playing around with some of the, back in Oakland, I don't know if you remember this, Greg, but every week they'd have kind of that hype video playing on the Jumbotron, and it would get everyone psyched up, and then they later were doing it on the website where they'd release it. Haven't been doing it lately. So I thought I'd throw my hat in the ring and do a hype video every week. So we're planning that using the AI video. And so, check it out. We'll see how they go. And feedback, like I said, is always welcome. All right? Everyone stay safe. Have a great summer, and let's get ready for training camp.
It's always good to hear from you, Raider Claus. I got to remind the listeners how much you do for charity. I mean, it's not about you. It's about other people. Great ambassador for the Raider Nation right here, Raider Claus. Now, I love the hype video because those are awesome, and they haven't done them. So, yeah, I think that's a fabulous idea. Now, the dumb shit, what was it? The dumb shit. That would be appropriate for the years past, honestly. But I think now, for now, our team is improving. So maybe you could have like a flopper of the week and then have a superstar or something like that. I think catching both ends of that spectrum are good, especially because we're doing positive, man. I just think those days are behind us. I hope they are. And I do believe in my heart, deepest heart, that they are. And we're just going to start to see some craziness. So that would be my suggestion because I think that's our direction. I do understand why. Because we've seen so much buffoonery. Thank you for the call, brother. And I hope to hear from you often because training camp's here. First game is next week. Talk to you later, brother. And last but never least, Raider Sid, the Desert Raider. What's up, my brother?
What up, Raider Randy, Raider Greg? This is Raider Sid, the Desert Raider. All right, we're getting close. All right, I want to talk about a couple of things. First thing, the trenches. You know how important the trenches are because if you want to win in the NFL, you have to win in the trenches. If you want a great offense, you have to have a great O-line. If you want a great defense, you have to have a great D-line. Come on. I think the offense, we've acquired some players. We upgraded our coaching. I think we're going to be fine there, even though we sucked ass last year. Okay? And the defense, same thing, except for we're a little weak at nose tackle. We need a true nose tackle. All right? Okay. And the last thing I want to talk about is this whole Fernando versus Cousins bullshit. All right? Now, no disrespect to Cousins, but Fernando is bigger, stronger, faster. He's got a better arm, and he's way more clutch than Cousins has ever been in his entire life. Okay? So right now, Cousins is slated to be the starter, but that's only until Fernando decides to take the job. Don't wait, Fernando. Do not wait. Take the job. It's yours. All right, Raider Nation. This is Raider Sid, the Desert Raider, and I am out.
Well, in that center position, we have Tatanka Hemingway.
Tatanka.
Who's improved a lot. He's a beast. I just don't know if he has the tools to do the job. Now, Vita Vea, he's out there, but he's kind of crazy. I don't know if we're going to get him, but we do have a strong rotation of defensive linemen. I certainly don't think that anybody's going to be walking through the middle. However, we'll see the defense much better and much quicker than you think because they're already ready. They're already playing hard. Defensive line is kind of getting there. Harder to really test the defensive line than it is the defensive backs and linebackers. But I'm telling you, it should be pretty damn good. And we might take another year to get the people together, personnel together, to make it a run for the playoffs. But I think we got a great start. We have a good team to start with. The coaching staff makes such a huge difference, bro. And I don't know if you've been to training camp. I've been there. And to watch it happen, it's beautiful. I mean, it's beautiful to see how smooth things go, the transitions, how they're getting along. I mean, there's a lot to see there, but if you ever get an opportunity, you should go. Then you'll get an idea of how things are working out. Now, even in our preseason game, we're not going to show anything. We're going to show the bare minimum, but you'll be able to see the young players play. Fernando is not ready to take the reins yet. He needs to work on his footwork. He's slow, he's slower, and he takes longer to throw the ball. He's got to learn to get the ball out quicker. The difference between him and Cousins is like night and day. He cannot hold the ball. We saw what happened last time that AOC was the quarterback and he held the ball too long. We all know how that ended up. So he needs to learn how to get the ball out faster. That means he has to learn the offense faster. He has to make those decisions faster. And that's what he has to sit in camp and then also sit behind Cousins. Because Cousins is throwing the ball great, man. I'm telling you. He ain't missing very many guys. And when he does, it's because they tip the ball. Or the guy missed the catch. I saw it many times. I was there. So don't worry. It's all going to come down to good. Fernando's going to get some experience. I don't want to throw him out there while he's holding the ball too long. It'll be a disaster for him, I'm telling you. So it'd be better if he's a little more prepared. I don't know how many games it's going to take, but I don't care because I think Cousins is going to be able to carry this team. He might not be as dynamic, but man, let me tell you, don't sleep on him. Look back at some of his great seasons that he's had with other teams, and you'll see a quarterback that knows what the hell he's doing. That I can tell you, my good brother. Well, that's it for this edition of the Raider Nation podcast. I just want to thank everybody for calling in. Thank everyone for listening. And, you know, I'm old. OG, the old O part is for sure. So we're just keep hammering this out. Again, thanks, Randy, for letting me stay there. We had a great time together. Thank your lovely wife. And, yeah, man, our team is gelling like a felon, and we're on the slope now. Football's right around the corner. Thursday, it's the Cards, the Redbirds, and it's on from there. And, man, I'm telling you, just be gentle with all those new fans. Tell them to study. Tell them to understand the history. Because I'll tell you, before I sign off, it really hurts me to see a guy with a hat, Raider hat, and a jersey, and you go to talk to him. I've talked to them, and they're like, with no opinion. Learn what the hell's going on. If you're going to wear this shit, know this shit. That's all I have to say. I am Raider Greg, and I am out.
Started in the muck back in 05. OG Raider Greg keeps the signal alive. Basement echoes, fire in the chest. Sprint to the peak, put the passion to the test. Silver and black, the nation. Silver and black, the nation. Stop. Call it Coliseum mud where we stood with the best. Shifted the weight from the bay to the sand. Silver and black boots stomping the land. 2 decades deep with the longest run. Silver on the tooth, we're never done. No more waiting on the luck of the draw. Building a monster with a heavy claw. The vibe is gritty, the vision is clear. The roar of the crowd is all I can hear. Full speed, true. 26 is the start, we're taking the crown. Take it all. Kubiak calling plays and shutting it down. The architect, always competing, the roster is set. Building the dynasty, you can place your bet. 27-8-9, Silver Red. Mendoza with the laser beam arm. Pocket presence, heavy metal charm. Draft day heist, we took the hall. Free agency moves, gotta standing tall. Always competing, the roster is set. Building a legacy solid as rock. The swagger's back, on the track. 29, never looking back. Kubiak's scheme is locked and tight. Moving like phantoms in the night. The engine is screaming, the tank is full. Winning the battle with a heavy pull. Heavy pull, watch the arm. From Coliseum gates to desert heat. The longest run can't be beat. Since 05 we held the floor. Knocking on the championship door. Knock it down. Power, power. 26 is the start, we're taking the crown. On the hunt. Kubiak be at? Calling plays in the scoring zone. Always competing. Top tier grades, odds on the sheet. The roster is prime, building the dynasty, starting to climb. Silver Ray, building, yeah. Raider Nation podcast, OGs on top. Once we roll, we never stop. Mendoza to the end zone. Kubiak with the plan. The future is in our sight. Peace out. Silver and black, the nation.